Caregivers across California are suffering from unpaid wages, underpaid wages, wage theft, and overtime violations. Many employing elderly care services are operating in violation of California labor laws by failing to properly pay their employees. If you're a caregiver or a fiduciary responsible for making sure caregivers are paid properly, what should you do? Here's a quick guide. What is elder care? Elder care simply refers to the nurses, caregivers, assistants, etc., who help seniors and others who need assistance with basic daily care needs, including bill pay, feeding, clothing, washing, home maintenance, etc. What are unpaid wages, underpaid wages, wage theft, and overtime violations? Wage theft refers to the act of underpaying or failing to pay employees for time worked, as outlined by federal and state labor laws. For example, elder caregivers have been commonly asked to care for patients for up to 24 hours at a time. They are doing so while being paid a standard hourly or daily rate. In some cases, their resulting hourly wage works out to less than a couple bucks an hour, which violates federal and state labor laws. What's more, when caregivers are working long shifts, they often don't receive their statutory rest or meal breaks, a separate violation of wage and hour laws. Finally, because caregivers are often hired directly by family members who may be unfamiliar with these laws, they also fail to document the caregiver's rest and meal breaks, hours, etc., which alone can constitute a violation of these laws. How much in lost wages are caregivers entitled to receive? Federal and state laws dictate a higher pay scale for overtime hours worked, typically 1.5 times a standard hourly rate. When hours become extreme, a caregiver's lost wages can add up to tens of thousands of dollars or more in unpaid wages, not to mention penalties. Is it hard to get the money owed to a caregiver? Laws are written to protect employees from being underpaid and from being forced to forego breaks and meal times. The law also provides harsh penalties against employers who fail to pay full wages, as well as attorney's fees and costs. This makes it easier for a caregiver to pursue a wage theft claim because the attorney likely will be compensated by the employer rather than the caregiver. What does California law mean for caregivers? California's laws and proposed laws purport to invalidate any agreement by a caregiver that gives up any rights that they would have under California's labor laws, including the right to a jury trial on these issues. So who enforces compensation pay rules? Labor laws are enforced by the U.S. Department of Labor or Wage and Hour Division and the California State Labor Commissioner's Office. However, the vast majority of claims are addressed civilly in the civil courts with the help of Labor and Employment Counsel familiar with elder care issues. How does a caregiver recover lost wages due to wage theft? Well, most caregivers utilize the assistance of a labor and employment lawyer familiar with elder care issues. Many offer a free consultation during which the strengths and weaknesses, potential outcome, and timeline for your case can be discussed. Take advantage of that consultation. How long do I have to file a complaint? In many jurisdictions, you may have up to 24 months to file a claim, and perhaps up to 4 years to file a claim associated with an existing lawsuit. To report a labor law violation with the State of California Labor Commissioner, visit their website or ours. How do I avoid committing wage theft or wage and hour violations? The easiest way to avoid committing wage theft is to document caregiver hours, ensure rest and meal breaks are taken, and caregivers are paid everything they're owed, and on time. The next easiest way to avoid committing wage theft is to delegate the task to a third-party vendor, whom you hire and who is responsible for these tasks. Still, you want to make sure the vendor is properly paying its workers, or you likely will get dragged into litigation by a caregiver who's been underpaid or unpaid. This is a sticky area of the law with harsh penalties for non-compliance. Consult a labor and employment lawyer with elder care experience to ensure you are crossing every T and dotting every I if you want to stay out of trouble. When should I contact an elder caregiver wage and hour attorney? Contact an attorney before hiring a caregiver to make sure you have proper protocols in place to ensure you are not violating wage and hour laws. If you have a concern, contact counsel immediately the moment you suspect a caregiver wage theft or overtime violation has occurred so you understand your rights and obligations. How much does an elder caregiver attorney cost? Generally, there's no cost to the victim out of pocket because the attorney's fees and costs most likely will be paid from the settlement or a judgment from the court. At RMO, we help people like you address issues like these every day. Have questions? Give us a call or shoot us an email. The consultation's always free. Thanks for watching.